Commissioner Rob Manfred, kind enough to join us here in Seattle. I would imagine you're just making the tour now of Major League ballparks here in the early part of the season.
I am. I did a lot of clubs in spring training. I didn't happen to see the Mariners, and they were kind enough to invite me to be here tonight, and really excited to be in Seattle.
I saw the press release, I think it was yesterday or the day before, 4 million in attendance in spring training. Baseball's dying, right? Isn't that what they keep saying?
Right. You know, look, I honestly, after getting elected, probably the second luckiest thing was the game I inherited from Commissioner Sealy. You know, you just mentioned 4 million fans for exhibition games during spring training. You know, routinely draw 74 million people during the regular season. We got great competitive balance. Game's just really healthy.
Yeah, the things you've done so far as trying to speed up the game, what do you feel so far, what you've seen in the first few games of the year?
Well, you know what? I think the most encouraging sign to me is, as I've gone around both during spring training and today, I've talked to the players, and the players have been understanding and cooperative on this issue. And like all issues in baseball, it's about the players, and I think that's really encouraging. The early returns the first couple of days have been positive. The games have been shorter in terms of absolute time. People have commented they seem to be a little crisper, and so we're really encouraged.
Yeah, that's all about getting the young people, and you talked about that a number of times, getting the young people back, not only to the ballpark, but to watch games. That's important.
Brad Miller puts the Mariners on the board with his first home run of the season. It's 5-1 Angels.
And you like that offense. Everyone's talking about sport offense. As soon as you come in here, some offense.
Get a home run, right? Exactly. It was a pretty good home run,
yes,
too.
It was.
It was a real one.
Commissioner, what was that process like for you going through being elected and having to deal with all this? We knew there was some sort of plan in place, or a pseudo plan in place. You've been with the commissioner's office for a long time. But what was that like for you personally to go through the process?
You know, I found the process to be really energizing. I think that, you know, Commissioner Seelig made clear that he was going to go. I think the clubs were really interested in being engaged in who was going to be next. There was a lot of great dialogue about where individual owners saw the game, what they thought they wanted to happen with the game going forward. So I found it to be a really invigorating process. Now, a little nerve-wracking the election day, but you know, it all worked out.
Freeze coming up with a little of a stumble there with Jackson's speed. No play at first, so it'll go as an infield base hit.
And you've always been a huge baseball fan. Now all of a sudden you get to run baseball. How good does that feel? Yeah,
you know, it really is a tremendous opportunity and responsibility. This game occupies a really special place, I think, in American culture. You see it in the reaction to things that you say. People are passionate about their reaction to things that you talk about doing in the game, and I find it to be very heartening. I mean, it's really a great thing.
I know your plate is full with any number of issues, but one of which we just talked about, the moving the game time and moving the game along a little bit. What's the next step for you over the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months for you?
Well, we had a pretty full plate of changes that we experimented with in the Arizona Fall League. Some of them we liked. Some of them we liked, but they weren't that effective. I mean, for example, taking out the intentional walks, it saves you nothing. I mean, there's no real help there. The one that we really liked was the 20-second pitch clock.
Good throw by Chris Iannetta to retire Jackson.
And so what we've done is we've installed those clocks. We're using them at AA and AAA. That's for two reasons. I mean, one, it gives us additional information about how it works, whether it's really a good idea or not. It's like a big experiment. But equally important, young players coming up get a feel for what this is like. And we've done it with a number of topics in the minor leagues, and it's really helpful to give players on the way up an opportunity to see these things, and they get more comfortable with them as they get towards the big league level.
I personally like that too, because what it is, especially when you have it in the minor leagues, just like every organization trains their players where they're going to be hit and run, stealing club. If the young players know it, they're going to be ready for it when they make the big league level.
You know, it's funny. I talked to the Mariner players today, and I made the point about the batter's box rule, that so many players had played with the batter's box rule in the minor leagues. And when we got to the Q&A, Robbie Cano put his hand up and said, "What about me? I never played with that rule." So, you know, what can I tell you?
Ackley goes down swinging for out number 2. I do want to ask you, just on the heels of that, or whether it's the batter's box or the pitch clock, and you know, what we've seen here, just small sample, is the starters have kind of adhered to the 2:30. You know, they're out there, they're ready to go. Relievers, we've seen a couple 30 seconds, 45 seconds beyond that. What are umpires instructed to do? I know we're kind of in a feel-out phase, but what is the process moving forward?
You make a really good point. We are trying to ease people into the change. The last thing that you want to do is make changes that are so abrupt that they create friction between umpires and players.
Can you hold that thought? Can we keep you here for another half inning?
You can.
Stepping away here, the Mariners get on the board. It's 5-1 Halos.